Okay, my topic today is outsourcing manufacturing labor. My main claim would be that manufacturing outsourcing is bad for the economy in the United States. I have some supporting claims, and one of them is that outsourcing labor means that a company is avoiding fair labor policies. Now, in 2003, the National Labor Committee documented that Walmart used over 4,400 factories in China where workers were paid as little as 13 cents an hour and worked as many as 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Another example of poor labor practices would be that in North Korea, workers officially make now a minimum wage of 35 cents an hour when they actually receive less than 35 cents an hour. Apparel manufacturers are already being vastly underpaid, and outsourcing just compounds their problems by moving jobs from here in the United States to places outside. Companies who outsource only want to save money, showing that they don't care about the workers that they may employ in the future. Now, outsourcing is being increasingly done by businesses for creating strategic value through a process of improvements quickly and cost-effectively. Apart from reduction in transaction costs, outsourcing is being used as a tool for achieving a wide range of strategic business goals. Considering an example of procurement outsourcing, organizations are able to reduce the cost of up to 50% in a few years. Now, this does benefit the companies, but it harms the laborers because they are having less job opportunities for them where they live. The second claim is that companies outsourcing harms employment in the United States for citizens. Outsourcing means fewer jobs for everybody here. Now, over the last decade, more than 50,000 manufacturing plants have shut down in America due to their being outsourcing. 2.8 million of these American jobs were lost due to the outsourcing being taken to China. Now, the ability of Walmart, for example, would be that they use cheap labor from China, which has decimated the middle class in the United States, while making the Walton family, who is basically the owners of Walmart, extremely wealthy. Now, the Walton family is now worth nearly $100 billion, while millions of blue-collar American workers have seen their jobs shipped to China and other low-wage countries. Now, if outsourcing was banned, then there would be more opportunities for labor workers of the United States. I think it was in 2011, lawmakers on Capitol Hill proposed that under federal legislation, if American companies that offshore their call center jobs, they would lose their federal loan eligibility for a period of 5 years. So basically, that's just what's going to happen to them if they even try to outsource. The customer service representatives that are from foreign countries that are picking up these calls, they're going to have to disclose their locations and then have to transfer them back to the United States callers, basically giving our United States workers more jobs. My third claim would be that outsourcing negatively affects the economy. Now, fewer jobs here in the United States means less money being spent by potential workers here in the United States. If there are not enough people being employed here from the United States, then they don't have enough money to be spent for necessity things in life, such as groceries and so forth. Usually when someone is employed at one point or another, they like to have a little extra money to buy things that they desire in life. And so if there are no jobs for potential workers in the U.S., then there's going to be less money spent by them here. A result of this is that U.S. dollars are being spent to pay the other countries, such as China, instead of our own employees here, possible employees here in the United States. Our influx of dollars is being negatively affected because of lack of employment for workers here in the United States. If consumers spend, then businesses benefit, the economy benefits, and the public then benefits. This is an example of how increasing our consumer spending is good for the economy. The more money being spent here means that there is more tax dollars being paid by the U.S. Now, if there is a lack of employment in the U.S., then the money being spent, then there is a lack of money being spent by those potential workers. Since there are less potential workers, legislation is therefore having to increase taxes on all of you guys who are U.S. citizens. And so they're basically trying to do this to make up for the difference for the money that they need. So we as citizens should basically root for our fellow citizens to have jobs over here, not to be outsourced. because that's going to benefit us in the end, and we're not going to have to pay as many taxes.
Okay, well, the proposition is identified clearly. I do think you need a little bit more definition of what constitutes outsourcing. You have a preview, but you only previewed one of the supporting points and not the three that you ended up having. In the body of the speech, though, you did a good job signposting those 3 points as you got to each of them, so I thought that was helpful. You know, there's a lot of economic issues that are getting tossed in here that sometimes need a little bit more context or explanation. The notion that there are 50,000 manufacturing jobs or manufacturing plants that have closed and moved to China, and then you had 2.8 million jobs lost as a consequence. I have to do the math on that and figure out how many jobs that is per manufacturing plant. It doesn't sound like all that many all of a sudden. You know, and I'm not sure over how many years. Was that a single year or is that over a period of years? I think you also need to correlate that to the unemployment rate and ask if there is in fact a substantial impact on the unemployment rate as a consequence of outsourcing. It may simply be that the nature of American employment has changed rather than that those people don't have jobs, rather they have different kinds of jobs. There's a big assumption here that because a plant closes and people don't work for that plant anymore, that they don't have a job or that they're not going to be able to make any money. And I think that you need to show that. There's plenty of data that talks about how the purchasing power of the middle class might have gone down, or that the total average incomes or real incomes is in some way limited, and I think that you need some more of that kind of data in the body of the speech. You had some good examples about how Walmart apparently takes advantage of these cost issues, but Walmart's not a manufacturer, so how they are responsible for this is not quite clear. They're mostly just a distributor. The plants that are closing are being closed by some company, and they're being closed for a reason, and you need to talk about whether or not that reason is something that is economically important, because there may be consequences to keeping a company open that can't compete economically, and I think there's no discussion of those issues. You needed source citations for all of the information, even the Walmart stuff, which you present as factual data and as examples. I still think I need to know where they come from, so you want to cite that also. I thought you did a nice job trying to talk to the audience. It did feel sometimes like you were rushing a little bit. All right, thank you.